Greetings,
Got it right
everyone,
this
and
time.
welcome. Yeah, I do. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Knights of the Turntable's first impression review. This time, we're going to be talking about Compton, a soundtrack by Dr. Dre. It's not Detox, but this is Detox to us because we're never going to get Detox ever in life. With me, I have Richard Bailey
Yeah, what's up?
and Joe Hova.
Hey,
I'm surprised he didn't say Dirty Sprite 2 in stores. Ha, ha.
I'll be respectful on this one.
All right, so after 16 years,
16, yes.
16 years, we get another album from Dr. Dre. And suffice it to say, dude still got it. We get the Compton soundtrack, perfect timing with the Compton, straight out of Compton film, of course. With some surprise guest features, some people that have returned to form on these features that have been doing music for a while and kind of lost interest in them. Eminem, shouts out to you. But let's go ahead and jump into our impressions of this project. First off, how did y'all feel when this project was announced initially, before we get into the music? Joe?
I don't know. Like, it's, it has that thing, that stigma with it. Dr. Dre hasn't put out an album in 16 years. Like, you don't know what to expect. Like, you don't know if you're going to get, like, good Dre. You don't know if you're going to get, like, I mean, that's not to say, like, Dre produces badly or, it's just like,
Right.
does anybody care to hear Dr. Dre rhymes in 2015? Like, that was the whole thing.
Well, true, but when did anyone ever hear actual Dr. Dre rhymes?
Oh,
Shouts out to the ghostwriters.
Hey, they putting their work out there, man. That's the good thing about having your rhymes based on ghostwriters. You grow with the times, you know?
Which, shout out to Kendrick, because this is essentially his album.
yes.
This is his album, for sure. Richard Bailey, how'd you feel when they announced it?
Well, here's the thing. After seeing the film, and by the way, there is a review coming next week, my review of the film. The way that they portrayed Dre in the film, I figured he would be inspired to do something. I didn't know whether it was going to be something as simple as, maybe he will drop a song or a couple of songs for a soundtrack, but I didn't hear that they were having a soundtrack until he announced that, yeah, I'm working on this project. So I was glad to hear it because I was intrigued to see exactly what was on it. I knew Kendrick was going to be on it, so obviously already, yeah, 2 thumbs up, but I didn't know who else was going to be on it, so just was intrigued. Definitely was glad to check it out and see what was going on. But no Detox is very disappointing. So.
Word. But as he said, he didn't like the final product, so we might have gotten Detox and it could have been an utter disappointment. And there's always the possibility that some songs that we got off of this were intended for Detox, you know what I'm saying?
What if Detox is just a running joke of hip-hop?
It definitely was for a very long time, 16 years, man. But and also shouts out to the people that were involved in this project that kept it quiet.
Yeah.
Like, that's really impressive that we didn't find out about it until like a couple of weeks before it dropped,
Dre's a businessman at the end of the day. He's more a businessman now than he is a music producer. So he probably has like those no, contact clauses. Like you probably got to sign something, if you're working on a project with him.
Yeah, and probably if you mention it, we're cutting your whole song off this joint. So
exactly.
Word. But when it was announced, I was cautiously excited, probably a lot like a lot of other people, just because it had been so long. We know he has a ghostwriter, so we're not really worried about that. But in the last 16 years, there's been moments where people talk about, did Dr. Dre really produce this? Were there ghost producers and stuff like that? So things were tossed up in the air as far as that was concerned. But I always had faith that, being that it is about Compton, that Dr. Dre would put something dope together. And with some dope people in tow. Of course, we knew Kendrick was going to be involved. Because it's like they're attached at the hip at this point, so we at least have that. But let's go ahead and jump into opening impressions on the track. We'll talk about the newer people that were involved. We had a guy named Justice, which I don't know him. We've got King Mez, and we've got John Connor. Joe, you're familiar with King Mez.
Yeah.
How did you feel he performed on the project?
I thought he was solid overall. I thought, I feel like Dre brings the best out of people. And I think that's where he excels as a producer. Like, his tracks are good, but I think that he, like, behind this music, he can tell you, okay, you need to do this. You need it to sound this way. Like, so I think that King Mez did cool on this for the first time hearing him on something, like, major, basically.
Right. What about you, Rich?
Yeah, actually, did not know who King Mez was prior to listening to this. And then, of course, I heard his track, Talk About It, the second track on the album. I thought it was pretty good, Like, I know kept along with the theme of the intro. The music in that intro went right into that song. So, but I thought it was good. I definitely want to check out some of his other stuff, see how that is and how it compares to this. But overall, I thought it was cool.
Word up. How about John Connor? I know Joe said with him, it kind of feels like you heard everything you need to hear from John.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of keep that same vibe with this project?
Yeah, like, it's just, I never really got into his music before, and, like, this didn't really, like, change anything for me. I mean, he sounds solid on here. It's just, he just doesn't intrigue me as an artist.
Got it. How about you, Rich? Did you catch the John Connor features?
Yeah, I did catch a lot of them. Yeah, I mean, I guess he was okay. I don't really know too much about him. Yeah, I mean, he was all right. I'm just surprised that he has time to do this music because he really should be on the run away from the Terminators. I'm just surprised he does all this. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Rich, I'm going to introduce you to my dad because y'all have the worst jokes in the world.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, man, he had the John Connor joke in the pocket, ready to go.
Yeah.
Terrible. All right, man. So the other features from people that we didn't really know, like I can't remember their names. Yeah, him. I like that track. I like that first track with him. The structure was very, very different.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy that. Asia Bryant.
Uh-huh.
Was a singer. Yes. She was pretty dope as well. Which I feel like I've heard that name before. That one was a little bit more familiar than others.
Like, that one seemed like I had heard something from her before.
Yeah. Big nod to BJ the Chicago Kid getting the feature on here.
Hell yes. He deserved it.
Oh, absolutely. Like, this dude is incredible, and I'm so glad that he continues to get shine all across the map with hip hop. Like, you see him on so many different albums at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And my first experience with him was TDE. I don't know if that's the same for you.
And that's the crazy thing is that BJ, it's in his name, he's from Chicago, but he's on all of these West Coast projects.
All the time.
And even dating back to Dom Kennedy. Like, he was on Dom's from the West Side with Love, too.
Yep, I guess. Yeah, he came up, like, the first time I heard him was on was on Kendrick's album on Section 80.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I heard him. And then I heard BJ the Chicago Kid's own project, and then he's been on so many since then. He's been on Chance the Rapper stuff. He's on this Compton thing. He's all over the place. And deservedly so, because dude is mad dope.
Mm-hmm.
But we already know, Rich, we got to put you on some of his music, some of his solo stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and start talking about the music itself. What were some of your favorite tracks, or what songs most impressed you? Because it's really solid from beginning to end.
It's one of those albums that, like, and that's another part where Dre's good, is that he told a story from beginning to end. And like every track plays into each other, and every track it doesn't sound like the next one. Like, it all kind of sounds different. For me, and this is where I came to the realization that this might be a Kendrick written album. Like, the entire thing could be written by Kendrick, and we might not know. Is with I got the track list. I'm looking on my phone. Loose Cannons with Exhibit, because I started listening to Exhibit's verse, and I was like, this sounds like something Kendrick made. Like, just the way the flow was going, and just the way that he was doing stuff. Like, it just sounded like it was a Kendrick verse.
A very Kendrick thing.
And I think that that's a standout for me. Genocide's a standout. And then Deep Water. And the thing with Deep Water is it's not even about the lyrics. I like the lyrics. It's about the stuff that went behind the scenes with like making the beat sound like it's drowning.
Yes. Yes,
That
the
was
mixing on Deep Water is
beautiful.
ridiculously good. Yes, I agree. What about you, Rich?
This is going to sound like it's a broken record, but all that. I mean, yeah, pretty much. When you said earlier that this is like a Kendrick album, I agree 100%. To me, Genocide. Now, the beat, as you said, the beat on Deep Water, great. That Genocide beat, though, as well, because that started out as something else, and then it went into something else. You know, I thought that was an awesome track. Loose Cannon's track was great. Listen, I'm very surprised you didn't say this, Joe, but Ice Cube on Issues, come on now.
He got off on that track.
That was great. And of course, we have to give Eminem his props because that was just like, you know, the way that he delivered that track, starting like calm and then constantly more aggressive with each verse and stuff like that, the build up, that was awesome. But yeah, the standouts again, Genocide, Deep Water was good, Loose Cannons, Issues, and then I think it's Medicine Man with Eminem. Yeah. Those ones
Did anybody, and I know we talked about this before the show, but did anybody get confused with Snoop on the John Connor song? Because I could not tell if that was Snoop Dogg or not.
It definitely blended. His voice definitely blended in.
And I don't know if that's good or in part of like this whole like second wind or third wind that Snoop's in right now, or if it's just like me like not listening that closely because I was listening to it when I was at the gym. So I couldn't like really like get distinct with it. But when I go back and listen after this review again, I'm gonna see if I can see it.
I think it's part of the second or third win.
Fourth, might be his fourth.
Win. Yeah, this would be third win. I feel like it's still part of the third win with him.
I just have one comment to say about that. I respect Snoop for what he put on this album, but I want the Snoop that's on Bush. That's the only type of music he need to be making now. Don't be trying to get
He's really good at it, man.
Yeah, it's solid.
That's true, but I can respect it when Snoop does this every now and then. Of course, like I agree with you. I don't need a full album of Snoop doing this. just like we don't need a full album of Ice Cube doing raps again. We don't need a full album of Exhibit doing raps again. Like to have them on here and do this one shot, get it out. Y'all still got it dope. I don't need one of them to get a big head and be like, you know what? I could do another album. Like no.
Like, don't be Jordan on the Wizards. Don't be Kobe the last 2 seasons. Just don't.
Yeah. Because like whether Kendrick wrote it or not, my eyes like lit up on Exhibit's verse because like the beat changed, it starts knocking really hard and he goes in and I'm just like, yo, Exhibit, like this is dope. And I saw people on Twitter reacting the same way when they were listening to it for the first time. So that was dope. Ice Cube smashed it. But as far as like the songs that were favorites to me, of course, yes, Genocide was dope. I like It's All on Me, and Dre did a good job, but BJ the Chicago's kid singing on there is what sold that song to me. Just like the subtle touches that he adds in there, even when they do like that really high pitch effect with his voice, which that's an effect, but he's like the only person that does that. And you even when you hear it, you always know that it's him. He's does it on other songs before, but that was really good. I enjoyed Dark Side just because Kendrick addressed how he's being basically slammed in the media for his approach to Pimp a Butterfly and the music video for All Right and stuff like that. And is that the song where he kind of subtly took shots, Joe?
I think there was 2. I think it was that one and Deep Water.
Yeah.
No. Because I know when he was talking about Geraldo talking about him, that was in Dark Side, and I think he kind of mentioned somebody going at him subliminally on Dark Side as well. I need to listen to Deep. Well, shoot, I listen to Deep Water more than anything else on this album because it's just hard as crap. Like just like you said, the mixing is good, the beat is good. Dre did a good job. Like who I'm sure Kendrick wrote that or whatever, but his verse on that was dope. Um, like the little line, it was super simple, but the line where he was like, "Whoever's swimming in the info is gonna drown in the specifics or whatever." I love that little line. Like it may seem corny to other people, but I thought it was dope.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Dre thought that was hot as shit when he was reading it back to himself after he got that ghostwritten verse. But of course, Kendrick went off on there, and people were shocked by one of the statements he made in that verse. Once upon a time, I shot a nigga on accident.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know the crazy thing? He has mentioned something similar to that before. This isn't the first time.
Shooting somebody, right? Yeah, like on a Good Kid, like on I think it was like Sing About Me or something. He talks about like getting ready, like loading up and shooting somebody or something like that. It was like right in that area of the album.
Yeah, he mentioned it on there. I think on OD maybe he had mentioned something as well. So it was either OD or Section 80. I can't recall. I got to listen back to it, but he's opening up more. And I just enjoy everything that damn near Kendrick does at this point. Dude, just the different voices and stuff that he does. I think some people get annoyed by that, but I think it's pretty entertaining, man.
It's like Eminem. It's like Eminem was back in the day, like how he rapped in like kind of the Slim Shady voice, and then his voice, and then the Stan voice, and all that.
Right,
stuff.
right. Just hopefully it won't get as annoying as Eminem's did because he just kept going. Like, look, think about it. Medicine Man is dope because we were excited to hear normal voice fucking Eminem.
Oh yeah.
And hold up. Shout out to Eminem for actually coming through with the normal voice and delivering a ridiculously dope verse. Because I haven't enjoyed the Eminem verse thoroughly like that in quite a while because it just the cookie cutter nature of his rhyme scheme the last few years is just it's annoying, man. It's super pop. And I don't know how y'all felt about his old stuff, but I assume that y'all enjoyed his verse on Medicine Man.
Yes.
Yeah, it was solid.
Definitely.
Right. Now, were there any weak moments in the album that you just could not tolerate, that you have to skip over when you're listening to Compton?
I gotta bring up the track list again so I can kind of visualize. Rich, go ahead if you got any.
Well, to build off of what I said earlier, the Snoop Dogg songs, I mean, I'll give credit. We know that Snoop and Dre had to get on this album one way or another. I still think they could have been a little bit better. I'm not going to say that they were horrible, but I did skip through that's both of those songs, to be honest.
Okay.
So, but, it's all right. It's okay. It's all right. They weren't bad. I did listen to some of them, and just that it didn't keep my attention for too long.
Gotcha.
I would say All in a Day's Work. I didn't really care for it. It kind of threw me off.
Whew.
That one, I actually like that one because the structure was probably the most unique out of all of them. But honestly, there's no song on here that I just deem completely
like bad
skippable.
Where you have to skip.
Yeah, I can listen to the album straight through. Just like, To Pimp a Butterfly, there's nothing on there that I'm like, this is trash, I gotta skip it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, if I were to say any of them, it'd be a stretch. Oh, and shouts out to Game because he wasn't on the track list. And I didn't see anybody, well, I saw somebody mention him, but I didn't know what song he was on. And he did a good job, man. I know I know when Dre hit him up to do a verse, his eyes lit up like fucking Christmas, boy. But
no, and that's what made me think that he had to like like Dre makes people sign like confidentiality shit because like Game would have told us that Dre was dropping this album.
Hey, but you know what? His name might not be on the track list because he probably got his verse the very last. Like, we're dropping this album next week and we need you to do a verse and you can't say shit about it. So like they gave him a smaller window or whatever. So would y'all recommend the album?
Yeah.
Rich?
Hell yes, I will recommend it.
Man, you got Rich to cuss.
Hell yeah.
But wait a second.
That's how you know it's good.
But wait a second. You need to address something real quick.
Man, we ain't talking about John Connor and the Terminators anymore.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that. But you need to tell us, what are some artists that should have been on this album? Like, we had this discussion the other night.
Yeah, that's true. So, Joe, you got it. Go ahead, because we're on the same page, man.
You want me to go? You want me to go? TDE. TDE was missing from this entire thing. Like, how do you do this project without TDE? I understand why Dom Kennedy wasn't on here because it's not his style of music, but I would prefer to have heard a Dom verse on here.
It is like a bonus track or something.
A lot of people were mad that YG wasn't on here.
Really?
A lot of people were upset because YG kind of fits the style that this Compton album gives you.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
but
definitely
we don't know how tight he is with Dr. Dre, honestly.
That's true. But like TDE for sure was missing. Like you couldn't just give us a posse cut, like with just Kendrick, Soul, Q, and J Rock going in.
Like real life, Deep Water could have been TDE'd out because when I listen to that song, I hear the Schoolboy Q ad libs. I hear it. Like it's there. Like Absol, J Rock will fit on something like that too. Absol, man.
Yo, this could have been like the J Rock solo album. Like this is like this whole album. Like J Rock would just like tell us that he'd rob us, and like that could have been the Compton soundtrack.
Yeah, and this could have been promo for him big time too.
Mm-hmm.
Because his album's about to come out, which he announced the name of it is 90059. So like, man, it's. I hope that a remix for like Deep Water comes out that's just straight TDE. Like Kendrick asked him for that beat. He's like, we're gonna do a TDE remix of it with another Kendrick verse on it, and they just freaking smashed that shit, dog. I need that in my life. And like I said before, I think it was on Nights of the Turntable, I was kind of disappointed that Terrence Martin wasn't involved. But after hearing the project, he does not fit in it. Like it would have been a very minuscule part for him to add to the sound. Like it would have been just adding more atmospheric stuff because it's more hard hitting than what you normally get from Terrence Martin. Rich, like was there? Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like you put this on and like it's like you visualize the street, like you visualize a street in Compton.
Oh, absolutely. Rich, was there anyone else that you hoped would have been on there?
Well, yeah. Again, TDE. It seemed like that was an obvious choice because again they were in Kendrick's All Right video. For those that may not be familiar of who that group is, this would have been an opportune time for them to be on this, considering that this is also promoting the film as well. So it would have been good to have them on it, but I understand, I guess, hey, listen, maybe they just said no. We'll get them. Maybe Dre will assist them on other projects, albums that are supposed to come out. Just so long as they don't suffer the same fate as Detox and never come out, then they're all right. But,
and it's always possible that the Dr. Dre TDE posse cut is going to be on J Rock's album.
Yeah,
but I highly doubt it because I highly doubt that we get that J Rock album before the end of the year too.
Well, Kendrick will be on the album, right? That should be a guarantee, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because Kendrick and J Rock they go back further than anyone else does.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I don't think that we're guaranteed TDE spots on any of their albums anymore because Q and was Rock on These Days?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
Yeah, Rock seems to be the only one that's always on something.
Yeah.
And actually we already know that Kendrick's on J Rock's album. That single, remember the single that cut where in the commercial they took. Yeah, if they make it, but they cut his verse out. Yeah, hopefully, it'll be on there with J Rock's verse on it. But the 90059 song is super weird, but I'm still looking forward to the project because the songs before that were all really solid. So, especially Money Trees Deuce, that shit was fire as hell. So, last words, gentlemen. Rich?
Oh, yeah.
I want to say something about the movie itself.
Yeah, the movie, like I said, for those that they just, you may be skeptical of the film, but I would just say this: it's definitely worth seeing. And again, I have a review coming on the site soon, but yeah, it's worth seeing. F. Gary Gray is an excellent director, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. This has to be one of his best films. It has to be, because you got to stand an ovation at the screening. So definitely worth checking out. But definitely, when you check it out, check out the review. Please feel free to let us know what you thought of the film. Either comment on the next episode or, on the review when it gets posted on the site.
Word up, Joe Hova.
I kind of hope this is the last Dre album we ever get, because it would put him out on top. And not to say that, Chronic 2 wouldn't put him out on top or, whatever. But it just feels good that, Dre, 3 albums, 3 solid albums, in his career, plus all the other producing he's done. So I'm kind of hoping this is his last one, because it's awesome.
Yeah, he can stick to doing individual production for other people. But yeah, as usual, we appreciate y'all checking out all the videos that we do and the podcast that we do as well. Hit the eye annotation if you would like to donate to thecoalition.com so we can continue doing these things. It is free. We will always be free. But we appreciate any donations you can give us so we can, buy more Coalition shirts or better gear so we can get the show popping and give y'all some better material, of course. So hit Compton, a soundtrack by Dr. Dre. Be sure to get that, stream it, listen to it, buy it, support your artists. With this album, you're going to be supporting some pretty dope, I guess they're independent artists at this point. That got some good nods, so definitely jump on that and go see the film. Rich said it was good. Rich don't like a lot of things, man. He in that get off my lawn mode. So if he tell you something dope, it's definitely worth it. But we appreciate it. This has been nice to turntable with the first impression review of Compton. We'll see y'all next time.